Mr. Barrios and myself present. We have Mr. Garcia absent. Do we have any community comments for closed session? We do not. At this time, I will entertain a motion to enter closed session.
So moved. Second?
Okay, do? Oh, discussion?
It's all right.
Do?
Aye.
Edmiston?
Yes.
Barrios? And I vote aye as well. We go to closed session at 4:30. The meeting will come to order at 5:33.
We're late.
Okay, we have nothing to report out of closed session.
To open session.
We did that in, we'll
Second.
do it again. All right, so we have a motion to return to closed session and a second.
Second.
Do,
Aye.
Edmiston, Barrios, and I vote aye as well. The measure passes. Okay, so we have Barrios, Mr. Barrios, Mrs. Dew, Ms. Edmiston, and myself are here today. Caleb Castaneda. Absent is Mr. Josh Garcia. We'd say the Pledge of Allegiance. Maybe, Mr. Barrios, would you like to lead?
Oh, I could do that. Okay. Put your right hand over your heart. Okay, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we have, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, Mr. Barrios,
Aye.
Mrs. Dew,
Aye.
Ms.
Yes.
Edmiston, and I vote aye as well. All right, public comments. So, I don't have there are no public comment? Whew, I don't have to read the little disclaimer then. I didn't even have it.
Probably got to memorize.
No, I don't have, because Dr. Williams always reads it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. That's saved. We have a presentation, VVUHSD Alice update. So, Mr. Williford.
And you have a copy of the presentation.
I just want to tell you, I appreciate having the presentation ahead of time so I could review it with any questions. Thank you for providing that in our agenda.
Can we get an adjustment on Mr. Williford's microphone, please?
There you go.
Test. All right. Sorry about that. Good evening, Board Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and Mr. Dr. Rubikava. Good to see you on the screen over there. Thank you for being here this evening. And, of course, audience. My name is Michael Williford. I'm the Director of Student Services. I just want to give you a short presentation on our ALICE updates and trainings for the next school year. Next slide, please. So the following information is an update to the Victor Valley School Board of Trustees with the potential trainings, workshops, and policy updates to keep campuses safe and prepared. Under the leadership of Mr. Dickerson and Ms. Hardy, the Department of Risk Management has been working on different elements of the ALICE system as well. Please note the information for this presentation is currently being vetted to make sure that we meet guidelines set forth by the local JPA, Department of Homeland Security, and cybersecurity infrastructure security agencies. Next slide, please. The objectives that you'll hopefully attain from this presentation today is, of course, what is ALICE, the timeline for our institution of some of these systems, the systems we're putting in place for systems we're putting in place at VVUHSD for the next school year, our upcoming trainings, and of course our end goal is hopefully a full active shooter simulation at some time, if not this school year, but maybe next school year, depending on that situation. Next slide, please. Just so everybody's aware of what an ALICE training is and what ALICE stands for, it stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate, which empowers your people to make good survival decisions should an attack occur. Trainings can vary from full simulations to hourly trainings for staff and students. And there's a cute little poster there so you understand exactly what ALICE stands for. Next slide, please. So this here is the timeline we have set forth for the next school year. Regarding our safety systems for ALICE and active shooter trainings. So we've already sent out, starting on July 11th, which will be on Monday, to our campus sites for administration. We'll be looking through the Department of Homeland Security webinar to make sure that they understand what active shooters should be, trainings should be set up, systems that should be in their school sites. Moving forward, you'll see, of course, that we have our campus district websites will be updated by August 1st with ALICE training systems in place. Also, too, our campus security will be trained on ALICE systems as well at their annual training meetings. We're going to be doing site trainings beginning on August 4th. Site safety teams will be getting these systems in place as well. Victor Valley Police Department's going to be using Old Cobalt for our ALICE certification for themselves, and they'll be bringing that certification, of course, to us as they move forward with that. And then if you look on October 11th, we're looking at having a VVPD simulation and workshop at one of our school sites, either Victor Valley High School or Silverado, that's in the works still with that department. Site ALICE safety and plans due to the district, and that's going to be something we have submitted to us in student services and risk management to make sure we meet all the needs of our ALICE workshops. And of course, lastly is a simulation again in March, spring break, to make sure again that we're getting our other half of our district trained if needed. So, and there's also some pieces in there of what that means for each of those pieces. Yes, Ms. Edmondson?
Will this include the teachers being trained? And will this include students being trained?
It does include on this here, when we talk about where it says the site trainings begin, that's going to be when all the staff will be trained as far as from ALICE is concerned. We're working at a company called Steve Ellis Consulting. They're through our local JPA. And he'll be coming out doing 1-hour workshops with every single site before the October deadline to make sure that all of our sites are trained on that. And we're looking at how we're going to get that training to students as well. But we're going to be adding those pieces for the students coming up.
Okay, so site trainings mean all staff?
Correct.
Okay, and students will be added soon?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions on this slide? Nope. Next slide, please. So again, this is just the breakdown components of what we just walked through that timeline, just so everybody's aware of it. Now that is I know you guys have access to this inside your internet link. That's a hot link that actually will take you to the webinar from the Department of Homeland Security regarding active shooter trainings and supports and systems in the place. As well as down below, it has the all district websites updated with ALICE protocols. We'll be updating those systems that are on that hot link. We'll be going on to our VVUHSD web pages, so that way all parents are informed of what ALICE is, how they can help at home, and support their children. Okay? Next slide. So the ALICE webinar, so this is that training there. There's a screenshot, of course, of that timeline component from the Department of Homeland Security. And each of those there is also a hot link that will take you to the webinar screenshot pages or the presentation pages. So you actually have a hard page as well, besides just the webinar. And that's, again, what all of our site admin will be doing on July 11th, starting moving forward to make sure they're all trained properly. Next slide. So trainings for our staff. So campus security assistants will be working with VVPD and Steve Ellis Consulting for safety of campus, lockdown procedures, areas to improve on campus, and things to look for. Site staff will get in a 1-hour workshop with Steve Ellis Consulting. All sites trained by September 30th. Implementation of training to safety drills. Currently, Department of Risk Management is looking at Navigate 360 to figure out if we can also do an online version too to make it mandatory when we start the school year every year to make sure everybody classified and certificate is trained. And then ongoing, of course, is the semester workshops and simulation with the Victor Valley Police Department. And of course, site safety teams developing ALICE site plans as well. Yes?
Okay, when we do the trainings, are we going to be able to utilize the employees that were trained last year that went through the CTA ALICE training and got their certificate and everything? Are they going to be utilized as a resource to assist in all this training?
Yeah, I can reach out to those individuals and bring them in to see what we can bring forth with them to make sure that we're bringing it together in one piece.
Because they're in-house and, they're already employees, so we don't have to go pay as much to the consultants.
No, definitely understood. I'll definitely make sure we bring that piece in there. Next slide, please. So some of the things we're currently working on is the production of our webpage information for parents, and then currently also have classroom posters being made for all of our sites to make sure that they have the ALICE protocols in place. So that way, again, it doesn't matter if there's a sub or a regular classroom teacher in there, the protocol's already there. They know what they'll need to do as far as either barricading the door, moving kids to the safe spot, all the pieces that are part of that ALICE component. Things that we're still being vetted, working with, one is barricade devices. Those are things that are being talked about. But again, we got to make sure from a liability standpoint as well, because if they're on a door, right, and again, they'll do great for keeping people out, especially active shooters. But we also don't want to make sure that we lock a kid in with an active shooter, because now they can barricade themselves from the other side, and then there's no way to get in. So again, we want to just make sure from a liability standpoint, and also working with law enforcement, making sure this is something they want to make sure it's on there, because again, we want to make sure we can have access to those classrooms as well. If we do need to, hopefully it never happens, but if we do have to clear a classroom, we have access to it without having to break the door down because of some contraption that we've provided. So we just want to make sure we have that. And then last, of course, is those full campus simulations we want to put in place. Some either, again, not for this year, but maybe the next school year. But when we do a full campus simulation, we got to make sure everybody's aware of it, including those families, because there's a lot of trauma that comes with it. Because, again, you're doing a full active simulation, and we want to make sure we have counseling and therapists and other people there ready, because kids are going to come out of that traumatized. So we want to make sure those are all ready to go. So again, we just got to make sure it's vetted, but our goal is to do a full campus simulation down the road.
Okay, now, you'd said it was gonna be next year for the full campus simulation. I can understand that, because that's a big undertaking. But are we gonna have, this upcoming school year, we have fire drills, we have earthquake drills, are we gonna have some sort of a active shooter drill?
Yes. Yes, so yeah, that's part of that site training. Once the staffs are all trained by that September 30th date, they will be required them to do at least one active shooter drill a month to make sure that we have that set up there. So
I'm a little concerned about that, because, so my daughter came home from, and she's younger, right? So, I mean, our students are older, but she was pretty traumatized because she said, we had a lockdown today and it wasn't a drill.
It's scary.
So like,
We did have one there.
yeah, and so I sort of like, I wonder, by bringing this to their attention, could we be inducing sort of trauma?
no, and that's very understood, Mr. Castaneda, and that's why we want to make sure that we're doing this in the best possible way, making sure people are informed, letting the kids know ahead of time we're going to be doing this drill, because we don't want people to go home with trauma, or parents to come with trauma, because the other thing we know too, especially with our high school kids, is that if they weren't paying attention, there's a training or a drill going on, they're on their phones calling their families, going, oh my God, there's an active shooter at our school, and then that causes other traumatic situations. So
I'm just worried because they might understand that it's a drill, but along with the drill comes like, what are we preparing for? Well, we're preparing for I might get shot. That's kind of a traumatic thing for anyone, I think.
Yeah. And I think in today's society, with everything that we're seeing, and I have children as well too, and they're a little bit older, but that's what I do. I talk to my kids about those kinds of experiences so that they're aware. And as educators, I think we have to do our due diligence to make sure they are prepared, in case something does happen. What does it mean to barricade yourself? What does it mean that when you're running, where are you running to? And they have to actually experience it and be able to actually do it to really kind of know, so that it becomes a little bit more like rote memory. You know what I mean? If you do it more often, that's what happened. When I was Alice trained, I went to a 3-day training, and I still have scars from that. They literally, you are a sitting duck, and they want you to experience what it's like. You're going to be a sitting duck, and then there you are. You would get shot with those BB guns, that they had. So that that you have to run, or you have to barricade, or you have to counter and fight back. And that could be very traumatic for students, but we do have to train them.
So our teachers and our students need to have that training to know.
Yes,
And
they
even
do.
then, you're just relying upon some gut instincts, and you don't know until after the fact if you did the right thing.
Yeah.
But
I agree that we have to have it, but I
Yeah.
sort of feel like it's unfortunate commentary on our society that something like this is
Yeah.
necessary,
Yes,
because
it
it
is.
does inflict trauma to even prepare for it.
yep. And that,
I don't think that gets lost.
no, and very well said, yes. And that's the thing, we want to make sure that we're preparing for something that hopefully we don't have to do, but we want to make sure, again, that everyone's prepared, from our staffs to our classified staff to our students, so, and our parents, because they need to know too what's going to happen and how that situation will unfold. So,
Well, what I heard was that a lot of students who've been trained at a school or wherever, they help others in situations like that, even in the shootings that are happening.
no, and that's awesome. That's something we definitely need to incorporate into our training components, because again, you just don't know where kids are coming from, what traumatic experience they have that's going to trigger something, and to have resources like that, a peer mentor who can come and support, is something we need to also adapt into. So,
So will this also be tied into our emergency plan? So emergency contact, for example, okay, when Santana High School had an active shooter, my kids attended Sultana High School. And the principal there said it was a mess that day because people heard Santana and they thought Sultana, and the mascot was the same too. So, you know, getting the news out through us, and we're lucky we have social media and all these things, so we don't cause a frenzy with the parents also besides the students.
No, exactly. And that's why we're putting that information on our websites as well, as far as for parents is concerned. Like, you know, if this does happen, you know, here's how it works. Here's how it operates. Here's where you would go to get the information you need. Here's how you can adapt into that information. Here's the phone numbers you can contact if that ever happens. So yes, we're putting those pieces as well, because we want to make sure that we prepare everybody again for something, hopefully it ever happens. But again, we just want to make sure we're prepared.
Amen.
So.
And it ties into our overall safety, like Mr. Barrios mentioned. We still have the Catapult EMS system, which is an information piece, so that those types of confusing incidents, information is power, and get out appropriately so that we can communicate effectively.
Next slide, please. So again, currently we have set up for some simulations like we had talked about on August 4th. VVPD will be using Old Cobalt, law enforcement only that day, to just get their certification for Alice and active shooter training. Then October 11th, VVPD would like to run a simulation and workshop at one of our main high school sites over fall break, and district personnel can attend and participate. And then on March 20th, they'd like to do another one on our spring break, another simulation and workshop. District personnel and students can attend, and families can attend as well, that one, just for information and be a part of that situation and see how that would look like. And the ultimate goal would be is to actually rotate these trainings every year at fall and spring break, because that way, like if we did, say, for example, October 11th, we did Victor Valley High School, and then we did Silverado on the 20th. Those are the two law enforcement agencies that would be sent to take care of a situation. So then they would know the campus, they know the layout, they know how the campus works. And then the next year we would do like Sims on the fall break, UP on the spring break. So that way our law enforcement is being trained on the campuses they would be actually being addressed to on a yearly basis.
So would Adelanto, you may not have a simulation or whatever, but, you know, and I know it's a different dispatch office, but would they have the sheriff do the similar thing at Adelanto so they're aware of the layout of that campus? Because you can get lost there real easy.
No, and that's actually what I'm working on. I haven't gotten information back from Adelanto yet, though, from their sheriff's department. But the goal would be to do the same program we're doing here with Adelanto for Adelanto High School.
Now, what about Lakeview? Because Lakeview's kind of tucked away in the corner, and the VVC Police Department might be the closest responding. Are they involving them?
I'll definitely reach out. I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't even thinking of VVC. I was thinking of VVPD only, but I will follow up with the Community College Police Department to see if we can have them be that resource for Lakeview, though. That's a great idea. Any other questions on the simulation component? Next slide, please. So our goals for the 22-23 school year is, one is to have all sites trained by September 30th, 2022, to have all district websites set up with Alice information pages, to train all campus security and assistants in collaboration with law enforcement, to incorporate an Alice plan for each site created by site safety teams, and to run simulations semesterally and drills quarterly to ensure students or staff are prepared. Next slide, please. That concludes our presentation, our Alice updates and trainings for this next school year. Any questions?
Well done.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
And just one last thing, just for you guys. This is just some more of the hard paperwork that went along with some of those pieces.
Thank you.
So it has the Department of Homeland Security's
Thank you.
information pages in there. And of course, the memo that went out regarding all this trainings for this next school year.
Thank you so much. Okay, I don't see Mike or it's you today?
Yeah, me today.
All right,
I get
Jennifer.
cool vacations and I get to come.
All right. Welcome.
I won the lotto. Okay. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Longuer, and I'm the second vice president of Victor Valley Teachers Association. Our president, Mike Mayo, is currently on vacation, so I'm going to be filling in for him. We would like to welcome all of the new staff members to VVUHSD. And VVTA is really looking forward to meeting all the new certificated members at the new teacher orientation on July 29th. And also a big thank you, and Dr. Rubalcaba, can you pass on to Lindy, thank you for keeping me updated on numbers, dates, and times as they become available for new teacher orientation. We know you guys are really pushing in that office right now. We appreciate being able to buy them lunch and that time being available to us. We noticed that the AB 1200 is on the board agenda, and VVTA would like to ask for a timeline for the retro payments. And if there's currently no timeline for the retro payments, we would ask if you would let us know and when would become available. We understand that that department's in flux right now. We hope that all the VVUHSD employees had a safe and happy holiday, and we are looking forward to the beginning of the school year. Short and sweet.
Jennifer, do you guys have a time yet for the new teacher training?
We do not. I believe Miss Lindy was still working on
Okay.
What
Thank
is
you.
the 7/29 date? July
7/29,
29th?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
You mentioned that.
no day.
You have the date, but not the time?
Yeah, the 29th, yeah.
Okay.
All right, well,
Thank you, you did great. Tanya, come on up. How's your summer going?
Hasn't been a summer. My husband said today he seen someone there like, oh, your wife's at home resting. No rest for me. Good evening, board members and cabinet members that are present. I don't have much to say. I do want to, again, thank HR for, like the teachers, just happy to see so many classified positions being filled. Thanks to Mike for the training that's coming out for security and for the training that's coming out for Alice. Those are real big items that are out there. I don't have really much to say. I know you're asking for a timeline, but remember my ladies worked really, really hard, so we can't push them to the max, but they're trying to get it ready and get it going for you. They are in transition, but they're excited. Everybody's excited for the raise. So everybody enjoy their summer. I don't have much to say, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, our consent items. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
so moved.
I've got two motions.
Second.
You'll be a second? Okay. So do we have a discussion? All right, Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Do? Edmiston? And I vote aye as well. All right, our certificated personnel report, 8.1. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. So I've got a motion and a second. Do we have well, we don't take discussion on personnel items,
Yes,
do
we
we?
do.
We do?
Yeah, well, just a little bit. Just one thing. No,
Okay.
this is a question. This is a question. It's not really a discussion. Okay, on 11A, it shows Leanne Messer at Lakeview Leadership Academy doing Skills USA. So is she
Yeah.
doing that as a substitute for whoever
For,
was there?
yes, but remember, she works at Hook,
Right.
but we lost our robotics teacher at
Sherry.
Lakeview,
We lost
Sherry
Osterberg.
Osterberg. So Leanne filled in to help
Yeah.
with Sherry take her kids to the Skills USA for the week that they were gone, and also to prep them for it as well too. So we really appreciate Leanne being able to do that, so we need to compensate her for it.
Okay. Just along the same lines, and this isn't, board member comment yet, how are we doing on finding a replacement?
For
Ms.
Sherry?
Ms.
We already
Osterberg.
did. Actually, it's a person I told you about at the last board meeting when Felicia texted me. It's actually a teacher from that same school who's taken over Sherry's position.
Okay, good, because
Yeah.
she's got big shoes to fill. I'm sure she's capable.
Okay, anything, any other comments? All right, Mr. Barrios,
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Dew, Mrs.
Yes.
Edmiston, and I vote aye as well. That measure passes. Item 8.2, our classified personnel report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, discussion. Mr. Barrios,
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
and I vote aye as well. 8.3, School Claims Division, our County of San Bernardino authorization forms.
So move.
Second.
All right, discussion on that. Mr. Barrios,
Aye.
Aye.
do,
Yes.
Edmiston, and I vote aye as well. AB 1200 VVTA, I know, let's table this for now. No, I'm kidding.
You know you're not that far away, okay?
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. I just want to say well done to the business services because they got this to us fast, I think. All right, well, Mr. DeBarrios.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Measure passes. Item 8.5, commitment to fund the 2022 school site proms.
So moved.
Second.
Proms.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Yeah, quick question. Okay, now is this amount gonna be consistent to all the high schools? Or that's the intention?
Yes,
Okay.
On a per
Yes.
capita basis, right?
yes, what we've done before.
And how long are we going to do this? For a few more years since COVID?
Well, I know we did it last year,
Right.
and we're gonna be doing this year, so I'm anticipating that we can always reevaluate, you know? But I will tell you that our principals absolutely appreciate
Right,
being
'cause
able
it's-
to
you know,
do
the
that.
ASBs are, you know, busting their butt, but they still have a lot of catching up to
Yeah.
do after 3
Yeah,
years.
it's gonna take some time. It's
Okay.
gonna take
Thank
some
you.
time to get us back to where we were.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.6, the contract for deal consulting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do?
Aye.
Yes.
Edmiston? And I vote aye as well. Item 8.7, the contract with Brinks. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Are we currently using Brinks for this service?
Yeah. We are. Yes. Yep, we are.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do?
Aye.
Edmiston?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.8, the contract renewal with the Riverside County Superintendent of
So
Schools.
moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Just one, I've asked this before, or somebody's asked this before. Doesn't the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools offer these services? I know the ones in Riverside, they're very good.
Yeah,
but
they are.
San
They are.
Bernardino hasn't done that yet?
I can get back with you, I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's a reason why we're going with them,
Oh, that's
so-
fine, because their trainings that,
Yeah.
well, I've attended with my
Well,
wife, have
actually,
been, they were very
A lot
good.
of times they both get together and train, you know.
Right.
One will train, the other will train, so a lot of times that happens.
I can find out and put it
Yeah, I'm
on
just
Friday
curi- I'm
night
just
for you.
curious.
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
Any more discussion? Okay, Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do?
Aye.
Edmiston? And I vote aye as well. Item 8.9, the contract renewal with ClassLink Services.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? Okay, Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Do?
Yes.
Edmiston? And I vote aye as well. Item 8.10, the contract renewal with Gaggle Safety Management Services.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I'm really pleased we have this. Is Dave here? Thank
Yes.
you, because I know that it's really helped our students a lot, especially those in trauma or crisis, or some that might be not on the right path. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's really a team. Gaggle's a whole team, you know, including my APs, the teachers, everybody.
Right.
Wasn't this the one that we received a lot of sort of pushback from a few years ago and almost didn't get approved? But then,
That was the student that brought that up, and they were confusing Gaggle and GoGuardian.
oh, okay.
So GoGuardian is where the teachers can see the student's desktop.
I love GoGuardian.
Well, they got confused, that's what they thought Gaggle was.
Okay.
It's both.
All right. Well, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right, Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.10, our contract renewal with Mitel Voice over Internet Protocol Phone
So
System
moved.
Support.
Second.
Second. Okay.
Discussion?
Yes. There was a time when our teachers couldn't access calling parents if they were outside a certain area code or certain geographical area. But since we're using VoIP, that shouldn't be an issue.
VoIP
Our-
is just internally using the internal network. Once it goes outside of our network, it's still using long distance phone lines.
Are
So
teachers able to contact?
teachers are
parents
able
at-
to access all the area codes in California and Nevada
Okay, from their room?
from the room, but
Okay.
not, you know, it's
Not
not
outside
open,
of
not outside of
California or
that.
Nevada.
And we did start adopting Google Voice for that purpose, if they want to use that.
Okay, so they can use Google Voice. Is that accessed on their
There's
classroom phones?
50 users right now currently using it.
So if they need access, they could ask for that?
Right.
But it's limited to California and Nevada. The only reason because I know that with sort of remote education, there's been students that are maybe in another state, but
Right.
they're still
Amen.
Right.
in
Their
our
phone number,
classes.
their access.
Personally, that was a decision made at the executive cabinet level. That's what we've been given the mandate to give those area codes access in the classroom.
If we find that there's a need, we kind of go back to kind of the drawing board, and if teachers are saying, I've got lots of students, or a need for that, and that's why we do have Google Voice, and I know Dave and I worked on that to look and see how many licenses we needed, but currently, we only, we now have about 50.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
all the ones that were using it before,
So
I
you
put
can
out an
always
email.
use that as well, too.
Right.
You
We
know.
did it on our ESSER for, I think, 500 license of Google Voice
Yeah.
if they want. And the nice thing with Google Voice is you use it for texting and other features. They can be at home and call students if they
Yeah,
want
without
to.
using their personal cell phone.
Well,
Right.
because we have people moving in from other states and
Yeah.
they don't want to change their phone number.
Right, right.
But we have their that number, if it's on their emergency contact, that's all digitized, so we
Mm-hmm.
should be able to just, if it's on their emergency contact list, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
Whether
only
it's
if
California, Nevada, Oklahoma, or whatever.
Right.
Well, only if they get the Google Voice
Mm-hmm.
access. Well, I'm sure
Google
if it's
Voice?
an issue, we'll hear
Oh,
about
boy.
it.
Yeah. So far, it hasn't been a concern that we're made aware of.
Okay. Sounds good.
Step
All
in the right
right,
direction.
more
that's for sure.
discussion? Okay, Mr. Barrios,
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
and I vote aye as well. 812, contract renewal with Fortinet, firewall
moved.
maintenance.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do?
Aye.
Yes.
Emiston and Castaneda votes aye. All right, item 8.13, contract renewal, Action Youth America.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Just real quick, the sites that are using it, are they happy with what they're doing? If they weren't happy, they probably wouldn't be wanting to renew it, but just in case.
Yes, they are. And actually, this is an expansion this year. We're actually looking to add another 50 kids per site. So that way we can actually service 100 kids per site. That's our goal this year. And we're also looking at adding also some CTE support pathways to Action Youth. So they're actually going to be doing an esports program. They're going to be doing a chopped class where they do a cooking class. And they're adding also we're looking at maybe adding a sound recording booth. So our kids can learn how to record and become a sound engineers. So we're looking at ways to enhance those students, and that's what we're doing with our AYA this year.
Sounds good.
Okay, more discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.14, a contract with Fremont Millwork.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Just one thing, okay, the description of this, it says that we approved this on 12/1. And now they're saying that there's gonna be a 10% price increase. As soon as we approved it, wasn't it immediately ordered so we wouldn't incur a 10% penalty?
Dr. Hawkins, you want to, oh.
I
he's-
know.
No, and I know that's not your department, but see, that's.
Can we
that's what-
ensure that it gets ordered right away?
Yeah, let me follow up on this and find out a little bit more. I know Dr. Collins right now is not, she'll be back on Monday,
Okay.
hopefully.
I mean,
So-
with inflation as high as it is, that this might be something pretty common that
Yeah.
we should put in the orders. as
Yeah,
fast
but
as-
if we ordered it and the price was quoted, that's the price we should pay. If we ordered within their guidelines, because usually they have like a 30-day guarantee on their quotes.
Yeah,
That's all right.
but that might just be a useful thing that we need to keep in mind to order as fast as we can.
Yeah. Or there might be other reasons why they were not aware of, but I'll find a little bit more about it.
Alright.
But of course, anytime that we, especially when it has fiscal implications
And
like
there's
that, we
been
want to
other
deal with
times
it.
where they ordered it before it was approved.
Yeah.
And so this would have been the perfect situation to order it on time as soon as we, the next morning, just order it. That's all.
All right.
More discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Nay. No.
Aye.
Two?
Yes.
Edmiston? And I will vote aye as well. That measure passes. Item 8.15, a contract with Summer Professional Development Mini Conference.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.16, Summer Professional Development, Kathleen Randall.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Just one thing, when they, on the description, they put Kathy Randall, and I know that's the name of the presenter, and all the educator mucky mucks know who that is, but Kathy Randall, to me and some people, is Kathy Randall from Goodwill.
Yeah. The
And it
former
always-
secretary.
And it always will be,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah, I remember her.
And she would do a good job, too.
Okay. More discussion? All right, Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
Aye.
Do.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.17, our contract Summer Professional Development with AccuTrain.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do. Evanston?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.18, our Summer Professional Development AccuTrain again.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Do.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.19, another one for professional development with AccuTrain.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.20, our purchase for 2,000 Chromebooks.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this the maximum number we can get with that grant?
This is what we this is what we went out for when we submitted for the ECF funding was 2,000 Chromebooks.
Is there a way to submit for additional ones?
No, this was the last.
Will it
round
cover
of it.
the graphics that we put on it?
No, it only covers the Chromebooks. So these ones we'll actually have to white glove ourselves and and actually prepare them for use for take home.
Do we have any expense for that?
No, we'll do it in-house, and as we talked about before, we were talking with Mr. Garcia about possibly etching them in the ROP. I'm sorry.
That was gonna be
Show my
question.
age there, don't I, when I
That
say
was gonna be my
ROP?
question.
There's no
Yeah,
RP anymore.
In the
CT?
graphic arts down at Victor High, yes.
That'd be great.
The only thing I would like to buy is covers for them, so that they're a little more durable when they take them home.
Like the snap-on covers?
Yeah, like we bought 10,000 of them for take home right now that we're putting on the existing ones.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Oh, was this a piggyback bid that I saw another school district in the backup documentation?
It's piggyback, there's no cost to us, this is all through the grant, so when we do the PO for the full amount of 650,000, but we will not pay on it at all, it'll actually be CDW directly funding GSAT.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Barrios?
Aye. Do.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. 8.22, our service agreement, 8.21, our purchase with supplies on the fly.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Just one, all right. So does this mean now Silverado will be able to have a full-blown foods program? Because I know that was always, they could never fully get it. They just had a kind of a piecemeal kind of a foods program. You know, they don't have the facility Victor has, but they could still have it if they have some very good equipment.
To have the
Which is it.
commercial.
Exactly. At $86,000, that would be my
Oh,
hope.
well, I wasn't gonna talk about price because I
Yeah.
don't really know the price
Yeah.
of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's very expensive, and that is what we're doing, is really trying to improve our CTA program to make it more robust and to serve our students, so.
I have a
So
question.
that means we're making a commitment to it, right? Okay, good.
I'm sorry.
I have a question. Brett, I know you gave us an update on the old Cobalt kitchen, and I think it was the refrigerators, if I remember correctly, that were no longer there. Are the commercial ovens still in place?
I think all they have is one set of ovens in there, if I remember right. There's still one set there.
Okay. Any more discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.22, service agreement with Cintas.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, one, okay, this, and I know this is a silly one, okay, and it says it's gonna go up 8% per year using the consumer price index. Now, are we We'll have somebody monitoring what the consumer price index is, so they just don't automatically do 8% when it may be less. That'd be the business department.
Doesn't the federal government monitor the consumer price index?
Right, but we're the ones getting charged. So for us to know, so see, our people can check the consumer price index to see if we're getting charged properly.
I don't know if there's anyone here in fiscal other than Adriana, but
That's
I
okay.
would,
Yeah,
I
just
know, I
some-
would make the assumption that when we, have a contract and we look at the pricing, that we have, our eyes on it to ensure that it meets all of the guidelines.
Well, I know, yeah, because consumer price index, depending on what, they should do the one that the feds do, because that's usually a little more accurate. Okay, that's fine, just wanted to know.
I had a question. The cost is to be determined, but can't we get a ballpark what we've spent on uniforms, maybe pre-COVID, and then kind of adjust that the last couple years?
You heard his
That's your
name.
department, Richard.
Can't.
Sorry, I didn't hear the whole question.
It says the cost is to be determined, but couldn't we have a ballpark figure based upon maybe pre-COVID numbers? And then know that the last 2 years might have been a little bit different, but just a ballpark.
Right, so we're scheduled for roughly 30 to 40,000 per year for uniforms.
Okay.
That's what our historical figures are.
That's how much we have typically spent.
Mhm.
Okay, so we can kind of anticipate, unless we've grown a lot with the number of employees, which we haven't significantly.
Well, we've added 10 campus security, we've added 10 custodians, we've
So
added
would new
18 bus
employees
drivers.
get more?
They'll get the same.
supplies
They'll get
than-
the same number of supplies, but it's just more employees that are receiving them now.
But we also had some that left.
No, those are new growth positions.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How many more did you
So
say?
10, I believe 10 custodians, 10 campus security, I
Okay.
believe 18 bus drivers. So
Okay,
quite a bit of
that
growth
is
this year.
significant.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
You know what, thank you for all your hard work. I know in LMI, we talked a lot about this, and I know you did a lot of research and a lot of legwork to make it really easy for employees to be able to order, and then it can get sent to them. And I know you did a lot to get this to happen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
More discussion? Mr. Barrios?
I do.
Yes.
Emiston? And I vote aye as well. Measure passes. All right, we got some textbook adoptions. 8.23, a textbook adoption for AP Government.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Well, I think we have a history teacher in the class.
Yes, we do.
What are you guys thinking about these? Did you get to look at these?
I
and-
did Gov, I did econ, I did AP econ
Okay.
textbooks, but I
Jen?
know that
They do like them.
they were happy with them, cause my co-teacher liked it a lot.
Any chance that they got to keep any of the pilot materials?
They
Or?
always, all the manufacturers will, let us keep them, and in fact, most textbooks, we can contact them and they'll send us a sample copy.
Oh, wow. On the elementary level, we have to give them back.
Really? Oh, wow, we got
Those
one
days are
person, a
dead.
whole set of books like that one year.
We
Yeah.
don't get a full set, just a teacher copy.
Yeah.
Well, this
Not
leads
teacher
me to the
edition.
next question. I know that there was a concern about the librarian requesting that the teachers had to
For
give
the
up their
Williams.
classroom set of materials.
Mhm.
Will these three adoptions, will they include enough materials for the students to have at home as well as a classroom set?
With AP, we tend to.
My understanding is in order for us to be Williams compliant, we have to at least have either a class set or something that the students can take home. We can't have them both, or else the price is just ridiculously high. I don't have enough information right now because I know that that email was sent a while ago. I'd have to look a little bit further into whether or not we've done that. Yeah,
The
Yeah,
email
you
was
did.
sent in June that we received.
yeah.
So not too long ago, but certainly learning supplies, ESSER funds would cover that. And if our students need to have a copy of that, sometimes you can't use the electronic or digital form, you might actually need the book in hand.
Mhm.
So we were supposed to look into seeing how much it would cost to replenish the classroom books that we're being asked to give back.
We could go ahead and look into that for you. I don't know if, Lorraine, do you have additional information on that or anything like that?
I wasn't here for the original question, so
Yeah.
I'm not certain that I'm answering it exactly, so I'm gonna try. essentially what's happening is because we do have, and we're one of the very few districts across the nation that is seeing growth in our enrollment. And so with predicting to be over 11,000 students, what we're needing to do in order to make sure that we are prepared for Williams, as Dr. Yee said, is kind of hold on to those classroom sets, and just to make sure we have every student has that one book as we are ordering and expecting those orders to come in. So as soon as those are back in, and I know Jennifer is not going to let Terry Nowacki or I forget that she wants those books back into her classroom right away. And that was the intent when we purchased those.
That they will be put back in the
Absolutely.
classroom. Okay. And then, did I hear you say that the AP books are kind of a different situation?
We usually the AP kids carry their books, and we don't tend to make them do stuff in the books regularly during school. A lot of that's flipped classroom at home throughout the AP programs.
So could they just leave their AP books at home?
Mine don't bring them, and none of the teachers at my school have them bring them,
Oh, okay.
unless they're doing a book check, maybe once a month.
And
Well-
so teachers will say on Wednesdays is the book day, to just bring it on a Wednesday, and then that way the kids know so they're not carrying it every day.
Well, I remember when I was new to the board and I brought in Alex's backpack, and it was really exceedingly heavy for our students to have to carry. That was ridiculous. So if we can make sure that
Sure.
we have that, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, more discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Duke?
Aye.
Edmiston?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.24, our textbook adoption for AP Biology.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
To Edmiston?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. Item 8.25, our textbook adoption for AP Chemistry.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
Aye.
Edmiston?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. All right, our item 9.1, our rejection of claim for damages.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, I guess I kind of want to say that,
I wanted some discussion.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, can you give us a breakdown of what we've typically done for claims rejections?
We reject them all if they're under $5,000.
From my point of view on the seat of the board, that's typically what we've always done.
That's correct.
And then what is the next step for the,
They can appeal it, but they're usually not approved when they appeal it. But they can take us to small claims court.
It just seems like our legal system is just kind of screwed up, because someone can do something to you and you're left holding the bag.
or someone can do something to you and you go to the third party who was not at all involved, who might have deep pockets, and ask them to pay. I think you're right. I do think that it's messed up.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I vote nay. All right, item 10.1, conference request. Discussion on that. Item 10.2, our Williams for Q4. Discussion on that. All right, staff reports. We do not have anyone here from business services. Educational services, Dr. Yee.
All right, so thank
Oh.
you.
I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Actually, Dr. Hawkins is listening, and he did give me some information. So when you said no business report, let me tell you, that Riverside.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins.
Oh, gee.
Thank you.
That's what you call going
Eduardo.
above and beyond right there.
That Riverside does work in tandem with San Bernardino, and also he was responding about the prom funding for all sites, that they will do that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like Big Brother's
What a
watching.
nice little surprise. And it was nice also for Dr. R to show up and
Yes,
be a part of it,
absolutely.
so that was really good.
Everybody who's
Yeah.
supposed to be on vacation
Yeah.
now who showed up, thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
So I want to thank Mike, first of all, for just a good presentation and just an update on Alice. And I think that's really something that we need in our district, or at least for our students and our staff to really be prepared should an incident like that occur. So thank you for that and having such a good plan. I know you're also supposed to be on vacation, so I do appreciate you driving up here and presenting and being here to answer some of our questions. And also summer school. I know I wasn't able to be here to attend the summer school graduation, but I heard it went really well. I want to thank the board members who were able to attend as well. And then thank you to all the teachers who did teach summer school. And a lot of times, you know, when we think about kind of, you know, our time is so precious with our family, and to be able to come and give of yourself for a month and work with our students, that was really very, very nice, and we appreciate that very much. And also to our summer school principals and everyone's support staff in the classified sector who works summer school. Good turnout. So we hope that next year we're going to learn a lot from what we did this year too, and even make it better. So just wanted to let you know about summer school. Also, just to share some information about summer PD, we have that August 1st and the 2nd with our teachers. Currently, we have about 200 teachers that have signed up, and of those 200, we have about 40 new teachers. And I'm really happy, like kind of Jennifer talked about, kind of the support for new teachers. We have a new teacher strand during the PD days as well too, to really ensure that we equip them with everything that they need to be successful during the school year. And our hope also is to continue building their capacity and providing those training throughout the year as well. So just want to give you an update on summer PD. Thank you, Dr. Byer, for leading that charge also too. And as Christine Foote transitions into her HR position, that work has become a little bit even more so. So thank you for your leadership. And then also, Board of Trustees, I want to let you know that I had my husband go pick up from the Minuteman Press in Riverside the guide for instructional direction. That was something that I had mentioned since I've been here before, really having that coherence and that continuity between what it is that we want in our classroom, what we truly believe what teaching and learning should look like. And it really goes back to kind of why we are doing this work. And it gives you kind of what is good first best instruction, how do we meet the needs of our students, what does equity work look like. So I think that you're going to be really happy with the product. It was definitely born from a place of just passion for our students and really providing what our students needed. We vetted it through, you know, our stakeholder groups as well too. Counselors have looked at it, APs, principals, teachers. I know Anita, I know Tanya have looked at the document. So it definitely was very collaborative. We are rolling that out at the management retreat. So if you happen to be there, you will see it and get a copy of it. We are implementing it next year, first semester at every single site. I'm taking a collaboration day, the admin directed one, and really letting the teachers know what the document is so that we have coherence as far as what it is that we're expecting to meet the needs of our students. So I'm just really happy with that. And I'll see tonight what it really looks like because it was a lot of work during the year to create it. Within the guide also too, coming to the board at the next board meeting, I'd like to share with you the work of the Equity Task Force. And the guide, we wove in the equity tenets and the equity statements for our district into that work. I know, Caleb, you were involved in that process as well. I'd like to bring it as an information item to the board so that you know what we crafted as our equity statement and our tenets for our district. In addition, we also added the profile of a graduate or a graduate profile. We worked through the strategic planning group. Within that, under the strategy of student success, I wove that into the guide as well too, so that everyone knows what it is that we are saying, you know, not only with equity, but what is it that we want our students to have, what characteristics, what traits that by the time they graduate from our district, what is it that we want. We work with those stakeholder groups, got a ton of responses from surveys that we sent out to the community, and we have that for you as well that I'll bring at the next board meeting too, just for your information. So just excited about some of those things that we're doing and just wishing everyone, if you can, just enjoy the rest of your summer. And for those of you who are working, try to find some time too, you know, after work and be able to enjoy the rest of your summer. And that includes my comments for this evening.
So,
Will you
so,
save a copy for those of us who are not at the management?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
so your husband's going to get it tonight?
He already got it because
So,
he
so you
called
haven't
me
seen it and you're gonna see it for the first time tonight?
tonight.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Your baby.
Yes, it was.
How many graduates do we have at summer school?
You know what? I don't have that information yet, but I want to kind of, how much? There were 50? Okay.
Okay, 50 more students with their diploma.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you to all the staff that helped those students along. Thank you, Dr. Yee.
Thank you, Dr. Yee. Did we lose Dr. Rubalcaba?
We did.
According to the screen, he is.
Okay.
It says, "Have a good night."
All right.
That was at 5:58.
Have a good night, Dr. Rubalcaba.
Well, that's good. He can communicate
Mrs.
with us, so we don't know he just got cut off.
Yeah. Mrs. Dew, legislation, do you have anything on legislation?
No, we're just working on trying to get things through right now, so most of everything is people are out running for campaigns now, running for office. So that's where everybody is. I think one of the biggest things that's happening is all the gunfire. Everybody's a little worried about what's happening, the mass shootings. So that's a big thing that everybody's talking about. How are we going to handle that as a site, as groups, as wherever we are? So that's a big deal. So right now, there's nothing really going, but everything's moving though, like transportation, the bill is still moving, a few other things.
Thank you so much. All right, board member comments, Mr. Barrios.
Oh, okay, let's go here. All right, the first thing is, well, we do have you guys here. Anybody find out what happened with the Adelanto High School medical CTE orders that were done in September and never received? I know I asked this like a couple months ago. Have we found out what happened?
Yeah, so we, Ebony Purcell was supposed to call the teacher, so she's on vacation. But Lorraine Collins actually put together all the orders of Adelanto within her department and sent it to Dr. Hawkins, and we communicated that with Ebony Purcell as well too. So I don't know if that was part of the order that was already ordered, or it was something totally separate, but we have not had success in contacting the teacher to find out. If you would like for her,
I talked to her at Adelanto's graduation, and that's how this came up.
okay,
Because she said she ordered stuff, and she said, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I said, "This is stuff I need."
yeah.
So,
On Monday, when Ebony comes back from vacation, I'll have her follow up with the teacher to see if she got everything that she needs.
okay, yeah, because we're getting close to August and school's starting again, and this just shouldn't happen because we've been through this forever. You know, people, teacher, classified, department, whoever, they turn in an order, then it goes to here, it goes to here, it goes to here. Now we have this state-of-the-art tracking system, and it still happens. See, when somebody just had a pile on their desk and they had to deal with it, that was different, because that could be, you know, just somebody being overloaded. But, you know, we got to get that a handle on this stuff, because some of these programs, they need stuff like right away. So we'll try and find out and see if we can correct that, all right? Sorry, Ms. Deal.
That's okay.
That's all. Okay, now, also, okay, I'd like to welcome Ms. Deal to the business office, all right? It's nice to have you, and, you know, you've been through the things, you've worked with the group over there, so it's not like they're strange to you.
This is true, and I'll be providing the board with an update on the state enacted budget on Monday. So I'll give you some of those details about what those new initiatives and extended initiatives mean for our district. So
Cool.
Pleased and honored to be joining the district at this time. Thank you very much.
Okay, and if there's any updates from the county on the status of the AB 1200, if you could let the board know, we would really appreciate it.
I will.
All right, and next, oh, and Ms. Byer, you mentioned the enrollment increasing of that. Does anybody have an approximate idea of the current enrollment numbers? Mike Williford does?
Mike has it?
I saw his hand. Oh, I know nothing's exact. I know it's not in stone yet.
We just got this, actually, Miss Ogg has been doing a great job as tracking our attendance numbers as we go. So already, and we're just hitting July, July 7th today? So I can't remember. State vacation, sorry. We're heading July 7th. We're already at 10,780 kids enrolled for next year, and we still have all of July still to get the rest of our enrollments done. So, but we're at 10,780 kids are currently enrolled, and that's as of this morning when she sent that email out to us.
Super.
Can you give us an idea of like how that compares to like last year? And
It's tricky because this is the first year where we've changed the whole enrollment process. So Normally, we wouldn't have that number till school started, just because we were not marketing ourselves like we were this past year. So we're actually ahead of the curve as far as our enrollment's concerned compared to last year's number. At this time last year, I think Ms. Ogg told me we were at like 10.3 was our enrollment numbers, but then we ended up at 11,100 when we actually started school on August 8th. So we're ahead of last year's number, but yet we've changed systems up. So I don't want to say we're projected to be at some crazy number because we might be just ahead of the curve. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could look back on Jackie's emails that gives enrollment because it's
Breaks
historical.
it down by
Yeah,
month.
that's true. I saved those, okay. All right, and also, thank you very much for the Alice update and information, because that's something that could really help a lot, especially, and some people, I know a lot of students, it may kind of stress them out a little bit, but in the long run, being alive is less stressful than thinking you're gonna die, all right? So, all right, and next one, in the summer school graduation, Ms. Dew and I were there, and it was very nice, real cozy, and there was quite a few students for a summer school graduation, so, and I'd like to thank all the people that helped that happen, because it went off really well. And just to add on, I added this on just now, okay, Mr. Williford gave us a tour of the central enrollment, and it is so user-friendly looking now. It is really, really nice. So we may not see those horrid lines waiting outside and people having to give out water because they're dying of heat stroke and all that kind of thing. So that was a really nice improvement, and all the people that had a part in that, thank you very much. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Barrios. Mrs. Dew.
First of all, I want to say that I did attend the summer school graduation, and at least we got those people to make sure. I want to thank everybody that worked on it, the teachers and the staff, in ensuring that those kids made it through school, through high school. It's very important. And it was filled with the parents. The parents were, quite a few parents were there. Quite a few of my students were there that I saw. And they did get to graduate. But I want to thank everybody who helped out. The other thing is I'd like to welcome the person for us for business. Hopefully won't be too much trouble. I know that Antoine left it in pretty good shape. And we are in pretty good shape. So try to make sure everything is going correctly. I'm so glad that we're setting up simulations for our students. I think the more that we do practice, and the kids get used to the idea that we can practice, it'll become old hat for them, so that they will know what to do if something happens. The majority of the 1,000 districts within the state of California are worried about what's happening to students and kids, especially when they get killed, or anyone on any campus or any place. So it's a big issue now back at the federal level and the state level. And we're trying to do everything we can to make sure and ensure that we have safety. And that's a big thing for all parents as well, and the state, is safety of our kids and safety of everyone in our building. Thank you for producing that. And hopefully we will do a lot of assimilations and practice so that we get it all down, especially with the police. And hopefully we'll get Atalanto as well involved. If you need any help in that, let us know so we can help you get that set up as well.
Will do.
Yeah. Really appreciate that. And basically, that's it. And I hope everybody has a vacation. I'm seeing you guys here, and you're supposed to be gone. I looked up and I went, they can't be here.
They are.
You're retired. What are you doing here? Both of you.
Slow TV night.
But hopefully Mr. Moman will get well. Oh my goodness. He will. I know. He told me today he's had 2 good days, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know he's sick. Hopefully he gets well.
Yeah, he was really sick Saturday. Really sick. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Dew. Ms. Edmiston.
Well, thank you. I know Barbara and Jose, Otelia, have all been to the RA before. I just got back today from that in Chicago.
Oh, you just got back today?
It ended last night, a little bit after 8 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And it was in Chicago, the first time after 2 years of virtual NEA RA. And very exciting, very powerful. I was glad to be a part of it. So I'm happy to be home, but I also had a wonderful experience. However, I am very sad that I could not have attended the graduation for our summer school students because it conflicted with that. But I am so proud of all of our staff that helped make that happen for those 50 students. Mr. Williford, I don't know if you're aware that our district has had ALICE training before, and I would challenge you to work with the VVTA leadership. I know, Jen, you were instrumental in that, and your leadership team when we had it before COVID. And at that time, it may not be feasible to invite neighboring districts, but VVTA, when you guys did it, and we held it at the old Cobalt, I know Victor L. helped with that as well. But it's so imperative that all of our staff, whether they be security or secretaries or classroom teachers or anyone, and especially our students, have that knowledge. And unfortunately in Chicago, it happened while we were there, a horrible tragedy. And then the next day, Vice President Harris came to speak to us and then went to speak to the families. And it's still raw and fresh from Texas and then again. And so I thank you very much. It's just a horrible tragedy that I wish we didn't have to go through, but thank you. And thank you all for being here during your summer. Thank you for working hard. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I just have a couple things. Welcome to Ms. Deal. Thank you for serving us on an interim basis. And you're inheriting a department that's in pretty good shape, but you know, we want to keep it on, stay on top of it. You probably noticed a lot of us are concerned about the dollars and cents and saving money, because whatever money we can save, we can pass on to our students. So thank you for being willing to step up into that position. I want to wish Mr. Moman well. He's ill, and hopefully he gets better soon. So there's just a couple things. They seem like minor things, but I think that they're important. Sometimes a minor issue is really a major issue because of the principal involved. And so there's something that just bothers me, and it's such a minor thing. But it's a minor thing in terms of dollars and cents. But I think it's big on how we see our fellow humans, and that's the tip allowance. So I think it's 15%, right?
18, maybe?
18,
15.
15%? Could we up that to 20? I mean, I just feel like,
15% on the items, not on the total.
yeah, to me, it should be, like, to me, 20% is bottom level tip of what you should pay on the total bill for our service workers who work really hard, and they don't, you know, it's not like they're getting rich. And a lot of times they're putting themselves through college or maybe feeding a family. I just think that's pretty stingy to have 15%. Could we up that to 20?
Well, I know Barbara and I have both been, I know, Richard, you're listening, hounded by Richard, because if we accidentally put too much on, we cover it ourselves. And I know what you're saying, and Richard's really good about the accounting of making sure that we.
No, I'm not, and I'm not blaming Richard at all.
Oh, no. It's Richard. No.
I know Mr. Garcia has requested that the entire board policy be looked at again, because I think he also thinks that the daily reimbursement amount should be increased a little bit. So maybe that's something you guys, I mean, we can bring back the policy and then you guys can decide
side.
Yeah, we could just look at it.
I mean, you wouldn't even, it wouldn't even necessarily affect the bottom line because
Yeah.
that tip amount is within
Yeah.
whatever you're given,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think it would really raise
Yeah.
the cost to the district. It would just free our people to not be so stingy.
Heather, let's pull the policy and then we'll look at it and we'll bring it back to the board next time.
Okay.
And a lot of people will tip cash on the side
I do.
besides what they do. Yeah, see,
Generally, I
so
do that.
we are trying to take care of them.
Yeah.
No, and I know that we do. I feel like the district should sort of acknowledge that that's a good thing. Maybe our employees should be,
7% to them as well.
Exactly.
We could bring it back and take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll
see
pull up the
what's-
policy
see
and we'll
what that
bring it back, yeah.
policy
If it's
is.
something that is within our policy,
It
that is
might-
within
it
our
might needs
jurisdiction to be able to make.
adjusted a little bit
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And then I also wanted to remind, and I know no one's here, with the exception of Dr. Yee, but I did request.
That wasn't said well.
That
That was not
right.
said well.
Thanks.
Let me phrase that differently. So
didn't
last
mean that.
last time I was here, I requested something. You were not here, so you were not here for it. So I don't expect that you know anything on it, but I would like an update on what's being done to facilitate our remote attendance for board members. I don't want to go back to just us being on Zoom, but I feel like if someone's sick, like Mr. Moman here tonight, he's sick.
Come in.
They should be able to Zoom in so where they could still participate. And I know that would help people who are on conferences or any number of situations where you might not be able to physically attend, but you could virtually attend.
Well, he was
Well-
talking about zooming in for tomorrow, if he's well, if
Yeah.
he feels a little bit better.
It's different if Mr. Moman's zooming in because it doesn't have to be noticed when he zooms in.
Right,
It has to
so-
be noticed when any of you.
But if we
are
do,
zooming in.
yes.
But I know there was some talk about maybe a monthly sort of resolution we
And
could.
I looked into that, and I was told by legal that resolution was created when COVID was like at its top, and it had to be consistent, and we have a break, because we have not had that resolution, and I was informed by legal that we could not start
No,
one now, because we haven't been continuous
we haven't done
since
that.
then.
Maybe get a second opinion.
We can get a second opinion, because I did check on that last week.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackie.
Well, we do have the option if we notify in advance.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
If
But you-
It can be
notify
put on
in
the
advance that
agenda.
You're gonna be,
But you may not know in advance that you're going to be sick.
You're right, that's
Yeah,
a
if you're
different
sick-
circumstance.
if you're sick, you shouldn't be doing these kind of things. You should be
That's true.
Yeah, you shouldn't be here.
Shouldn't be
Shouldn't even
attending
be
it
on there.
virtually or in person.
Sometimes we need. Sometimes, Jackie, we need that
Just
third.
ditching, that's a different thing, Mr. Destiny.
Sometimes we need that third vote, Jackie.
Jackie.
Okay, and the last thing, I just want to alert the community that we are, tomorrow we are having a meeting, a special meeting. It is for the purpose of sorting through the applications for our superintendent search. That will be a closed session meeting, but you are welcome to come and make a comment. And I wanted to know, Jackie, because I know you took a survey. Are the results of that survey going to sort of be available by then, or?
They can be available up to that date, but we have the survey open till the 14th. I can supply what we have
Okay.
so far. We have about 155 responses right now.
Because it'd be good if we took sort of the.
And it's a wide variety of parents, students, staff. It's pretty, I was surprised.
I think it's good as we're sort of creating a short list to take what the community wants into consideration.
Sure.
Well, on the 11th, isn't there a parent and forum?
Yes, there's a parent.
Right.
There's a community forum on the
Community
11th.
forum.
No one has sent an RSVP to me that they're attending that so far, so.
Wow,
I think most of them are.
on vacation.
Liking the survey part and
Wow.
not necessarily coming in person.
And that's all that I have. So I think Mr. Moman is obviously not here. We do not have to go back to closed session, do we?
No.
Nope.
So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Maybe announce the meeting tomorrow.
Second?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So 2:00 tomorrow is a meeting. And you are welcome to come, but you'll be sitting in an empty room because it will be closed session. But you can make comments. You can make public comments. So everyone is welcome. 2 o'clock tomorrow for the special meeting. We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a
And I had a
second?
second.
Discussion? Ms.
Aye.
Barrios?
Aye.
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. We are adjourned at 6:46.
47.